What is going on, everybody? It's Alex. Come back to another video, and today we are back with Mock the Mock. It's been a minute. Apologies about the wait, but let's get back to it. Ain't no need to be holding you guys off from some good content any longer. If you guys are new, like, comment, subscribe. You know the YouTube stuff, of course. Join the Discord down in the description below. Over 110 followers, and not even followers, 110 members down there. So, of course, if you guys want to talk to me, feel free, holler at me down in the comment section, as well as in the Discord. We're actually going to be doing a fan mock draft coming up in a couple weeks. So, you know what? We're going to have some good time with that as well. If you guys want to be a part of it, of course, you got to be down in that Discord below. So, let's kick it off. Let's have some fun. Already recorded this, and then it turns out that my beloved AirPods were connected to my computer, and my AirPods were in the other room. So, when I did not have audio, depressed your boy. But no need to sulk on it any longer. Now I actually know what the heck's going to be coming. Let's start off with the number one pick, KT. I totally understand it unless you don't want to keep your boy Marcus Cannon at right tackle. If you guys do want to actually move on from him in the future, which I think would be a bright idea, I would be going a tackle at this spot. You know, Evan Neal is that good. I'm just a huge Evan Neal fan. Again, honestly, he might just be better at left tackle, though. He looks even better than he was at right tackle. We'll see. You know, Evan Neal can play anywhere. That's the only problem, is that he hasn't played somewhere for multiple years. We haven't been able to see the actual progression. We've only been able to see how he's been able to progress just as a pure blocker, just not position-wise, which is a plus and a minus. We've seen that he's great everywhere. Speaking of himself, Evan Neal at this spot, unbelievable, amazing player. Number one player in the draft for me by far. So, yeah, this is an absolute need for a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, who's just starting to turn it on. If he's able to have a little more time, be a little more comfortable in the pocket, his receiver's going to have more time to get open. That is going to be the key to win more games. Evan Neal, bona fide, number one player in the draft class to me by a good margin. But I didn't really highlight that much about KT. KT is a stud. He's a great edge player. You're talking about the two non-quarterback biggest war positions right here. Wins above replacement. You can't go wrong with trying to get the best value. People are scared of the next Jadeveon Clowney, where, yes, he's not a bust, but he was a bust for being a number one overall pick compared to what the expectations were, where he was going to be the Myles Garrett of the NFL. He was kind of a bust. Injuries as well derailed his career. KT is an absolute stud. He has that Jadeveon Clowney potential, and I think he'll reach it. So I cannot complain about either of these picks. Number 3, the Lions gained Derek Stingley. And originally I was like, I don't think Derek Stingley is worth the number 3 overall pick. But when you think about it, like Kyle Hamilton or DeMarvin Leel are the guys you'd go after, right? We have pick 30, or maybe like pick 29, pick 30, pick 31. One of those picks, as well as pick number 35. If you think about the positions that are deep in this class, to me, it's receiver. Receiver is pretty deep. It's not that deep. It's not like what we've seen before. Receiver, safety, edge. Especially talking about second round depth. So obviously receivers nowhere near number 3 overall at this point. We don't have Jalen Waddles. We don't have Devontae Smith. We don't have Jamar Chase. Corner, that's not very deep. So, you know, you have to, like, when you look at safety, Kyle Hamilton's the obvious guy that popped in my head. I'm like, well, he is the 3rd best player in the class by, it's almost like a guaranteed number 3 player in the class. The issue is when you look at number 27 or number 28, number 29, whatever that second first round pick is, you can get Brandon Joseph, you can get Jalen Catalon, you can get possibly even Jordan Battle. Not in this mock, but there's a potential for that. So it kind of devalues the need for that position. Corner, on the other hand, you do need one for a fact. Like Jeff Okudah and Derek Stingley could be a nasty duo if they actually both progress and be what they want to be. Derek Stingley, of course, being injured this year, which kind of sucks, but you know, with health and that potential, it's worth taking the shot on. Of course, the Lions, you guys haven't had a very, very good defense in a while, so it'd be nice to kind of get back to that level. If you guys get Derek Stingley here, there's just a chance for being able to get high-level players later on. You don't want to get Mikael Wright at your next pick if you need a corner that desperately. You know, Kyle Hamilton and Mikael Wright is not as good as Derek Stingley and a guy like Jalen Catalon. That's my honest opinion. Just get the best value. You have to look at opportunity cost there. I think that was honestly a very smart move by Drae Harris. Next, you got the Jets getting Kyle Hamilton. I think that's perfectly fine because the Jets have another pick where they can still get a top-end corner talent. It's just the range from 3 to about 30 is a lot less than 4 to about 20. So good job by the Jets being able to capitalize on the third best player in the class. Next, you get DeMarvin Leel to the Giants. I think getting an edge player is wonderful. I think DeMarvin Leel is an edge player, but you can use him on the interior. That flexibility can actually be a legit asset. So big fan of DeMarvin Leel here. He does work really well with what they're looking for in New York. Get some extra pressure in there. Continue building up this monstrosity of a defense. Second round, I would like to see some extra linebacker help there, but cannot complain about the Giants getting DeMarvin Leel here at number 5 overall. Number 6, this is a busted pick, getting Garrett Wilson to the Falcons. The Falcons could definitely use receiver, but think about how you could possibly get a guy like George Pickens. You could possibly get another big guy like Treylon Burks. You could possibly insert a larger receiver, and you can get them later in the draft. I don't think that the value of a Garrett Wilson is worth it at this point. You need edge. You need corner. But those two are pretty damn spectacular at this point. You have Aiden Hutchinson on the board. That guy could be an absolute game record. And then you also have Kyrie Elam, Sauce Gardner. Both are absolutely dominant threats at their position. So I really don't understand that at all. I just don't get it. Also, there's something called free agency where you can get a wide receiver. There's a lot of really good receiver talent just sitting out there, even in free agency. The NFL is getting a lot more talented at the receiver position because we've been getting a lot of these dudes pumping out every single year. Just don't believe that having to go for Garrett Wilson at 6 is worth it. It's not the craziest pick in the top 10. It actually might be after this next one. Aiden Hutchinson to the Eagles. After thinking about how Derek Barnett's going to be gone, I don't know how much longer Ryan Kerrigan's going to be there. BG is getting older. Those are 3 dudes that are gone from a really good edge rotation. Josh Sweat just got paid, I believe, $40 million over 3 years. That's a really good signing, in my opinion. That's not very expensive. You guys might say, oh, that's actually pretty damn expensive. Is this per year? You think about it, you're going to be seeing, do we have to even talk about the Titans? Bud Dupree. I think Josh Sweat is worth that cost, especially for his value. Aiden Hutchinson has that unbelievable game record potential. At number 7 overall, it's a steal, in my opinion. Big win for the Eagles. Speaking of another crazy-ass pick, Drake London. I love him with a passion. He is nowhere near a top 10 player in this class. I don't think he's a top 20 player in this class. So there's no reason in hell he should be at number 8, even if a team is desperate for a number 1 wide receiver. Drake London has absolutely no value to the Giants. He's not a tight end. If you wanted to say you can get Treylon Burks at the spot and you wanted to use him in more of a weird joker slot tight end role, you have at least an argument for something that they need. Obviously Evan Ingram's always been on the hot seat there, but Drake London has absolutely zero purpose. You got Kenny Golladay. Sure, he can't stay healthy. I mean, it's not his fault that he hyperextended his knee, but you got Kadarius Toney. You got the Shepherds, not Shepherds. You got Slayton as well as Sterling Shepard. Those are 4 really good weapons. I don't care if one of them's gone, 2 of them are gone. You don't need to go after a first-round wide receiver, especially when you have holes in the offensive line. Think about Kenyon Green, who I said was in the most overrated players. This is how you guys know. I'm honest with you guys. He just played against Alabama and allowed 0 pressures at left tackle. The hell? So he's been a pretty damn solid guard, has some whiffs, but he can play left tackle, which shows he has some major upside. You could even put Darian Kennard here. I'm starting to get even another player on the overrated list. Another guy who I've seen him take some big steps this year. Big potential. Exactly what the Giants would be looking for. Drake London's not. I don't get that pick. I'm trying to just say, even the position, trying to understand the position, I don't get it. 0% get it. I think it's just stupid. Number 9, you get the Steelers game, Matt Corral. I absolutely love it. Exactly what the Steelers are looking for. Even if he didn't win against Alabama, he showed that he wasn't going to continue messing up. Major progression in terms of how he's able to play. He doesn't have receivers yet. He's still dominating. That's special. Matt Corral really helped out his draft stock. This could be Malik Willis. He's making an argument to be the number 1 quarterback in the class. Matt Corral also just trying to vie for that spot. It's just, it's a pretty poor class. The Steelers definitely could use Matt, and I think it's a great fit. So I'm happy with it. Number 10, Eagles getting Andrew Booth, somebody who has been a little bit on the downside for the past couple weeks. Just IQ issues. He's been improving on it a lot, but he's been picked on a little bit in coverage. I think that just the two guys above him, and I was an Andrew Booth fan. Like, I still am. I think he's really good. Just he's not top 10 like they're saying he is. He's probably like a top 20 player. There's Kyer Elam and Sauce Gardner that I've now pushed above him. There's just no reason for Andrew Booth to be above those guys. They're playing lights out football, and Andrew Booth's getting kind of picked on, and it fits the Eagles system better. Just really don't understand sometimes the thought process. It's almost like you just see a corner and you select it. Just really don't get it. Speaking of don't get it, it's Jordan Davis to the Bengals. This hype of Jordan Davis is a little bit ridiculous. He is an interior defensive lineman. Like, you can find dudes like Jordan Davis is one of the best. He's the guaranteed second best defensive tackle in this class. That's sure. That's surefire. But you can get dudes in the 6th round who have that potential to be a pocket pusher from the interior. Yeah, you can have a big ass dude who's a pocket pusher from the interior that you can find in the 6th round. Don't need to be getting him at 11th overall when your offensive line still needs help. Your corner core is a bunch of dudes on short-term contracts, and Trae Waynes Bengals fans. There's help needed in positions, not interior defensive line-wise, that you don't usually get better value down the board. There's absolutely no reason why you go Jordan Davis here. The fact that he keeps getting put up this high by TDN is a little bit ridiculous. It just kind of seems like they're continuing to feed confirmation bias, like all these guys like the exact same thing, and no one's there to actually say, guys, it's not worth it. So getting a little bit frustrated with the repetitiveness, the homogenous vibe coming from TDN right now. It just doesn't seem like people are making their own mocks anymore. Regardless, Panthers getting Jackson Kirkland has not shown any form of anchor. Just anchor is the biggest thing for me now. I realize that if you cannot stand NFL power, you're going to get bullied every single game. And especially if you're on an island all by yourself and you cannot hold your ground, you are completely screwed. So Jackson Kirkland's shown that he cannot do that. He's actually fallen to 57 on their big board as of today. He is an offensive guard. I've been saying it from the beginning. I kind of slipped into agreeing that he could be a tackle because he already played a full year at it. But he's super agile, 6'7". I just don't want him on an island. I don't want him on an island one-on-one with nobody to his outside. I think that he can be perfectly fine as a guard. He showed that he could have some very high-level talent. And he played very well in 2019 as a guard. So I just don't really get why people are still putting him at tackle. And I think that TDN's starting to realize that as well. Speaking of something I don't understand is number 13, the Colts game Myjai Sanders. It's like they spent their first 2 picks in the last draft on edge talent. Don't you want to give a little bit of time to develop? You have nobody at left tackle. I'm pretty sure Julian Davenport started the game for you guys. It really just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. You go receiver here. If you go receiver, that's fine. That's fine. This tackle class isn't that great. If you want to do that and get a guy like Charles Cross in the second, which, again, anchor issues, so that's why I don't like him. I get that. Sean Ryan in the 2nd round because I know they don't like him. I get that. I just don't understand why they continue going after this. It's just, it's really irritating because you got to start thinking football smart. Yes, you can fill positions with free agency, but there's certain positions where you need to at least invest something in it, and they're not. Number 14, Washington game Malik Willis. That's an excellent pick. There's no real reason to talk about it for the sake of time. He's a perfect scheme fit, and it's an excellent value. If he's here at 14, I would be just popping champagne if I were a Washington football fan. Patriots getting Sauce Gardner. It's an excellent fit, aggressive, putting on weight, lockdown. Big fan of him. Kyer Elam is also on the board. By the way, Kyer Elam could be that pick too. Just saying. Kyer Elam, speaking of for the Vikings, excellent pick as well. Both of these, you guys already know their obvious needs as well as excellent value for the players. Number 17, Jordan Battle. This one caught me by surprise. So Jordan Battle is he's a do-it-all safety. Really damn good. Can play the strong safety role very well. And my only issue with this is, one, what's up with the linebacker situation? Of course, what's up with the linebacker situation in the draft? But 2, if you guys read the paragraph, they're talking about Byard talking about the twilight of his career. Like let's just look this up together. Like Kevin Byard, I'm pretty sure he is, He was born in 93, guys. He was born in 93. He's 28 years old. This dude's not like 31 or 32. I don't get it. Like, are they trying to say like by his 5th year he'll be at the end of like twilight of his career, not of his prime, of his career? That really makes absolutely no sense. That's what really ticked me off on this draft, is that they're starting to BS a pick. They're forcing BS down our throats. That's not cool. I'm finding this out about a lot of these sites, including one I'm very familiar with, is that they're trying to be unique and be right just for the sake of being different. It's stupid. It's stupid. Like, make good picks because they're good picks. Don't make it because you want it to be a good pick. Like, I fuck up all the time. You guys call me out on it, I adjust it. That's why I love you guys. You guys are willing to call me out. You guys are willing to teach me. There's no feedback system here. This is why we do mock the mock. This is our feedback system, because they don't really have one. I have a comment section. You guys are my feedback system, and I love you guys for it. So thank you. But this is BS. This is BS. Whether it's doing a stupid draft order just because you want to have a different draft order than everybody else, just because you want to have clicks, or because you create a BS reasoning for a pick that's not true. This dude is 28 years old. You're saying he's in the twilight of his career. It's just bad sports etiquette. That's not cool. So thank you for my TED Talk as well as rant. Next is Desmond Ridder. Also, I realize this, he's going above Sam Howell here. But this is another thing. Obviously, this is not something I'm going to get mad about. Everybody can have their own opinion, because Jameis Winston's been on a roller coaster. My opinion, this dude has no one to throw to. He has Alvin Kamara and Marquez Callaway. Like, he's using Marquez Callaway as a deep threat, which, if I'm not mistaken, he ran like a 4.7 40 as a deep threat. It's just like, come on. You can't say that Jameis Winston is not doing a great job because he's the problem. He's not. He's not yet. We cannot say that he's the problem when he has no one to throw to. And he's throwing 4 or 5 touchdown games with like 1 interception. This dude has shown major progression. Give him a freaking contract. Give him a shitty one. If he's playing that poorly, give him a shitty one, and then get him receivers, and then you'll actually see that he's a really good quarterback. I've never really been a huge Jameis Winston fan, and I am supporting him. Desmond Ridder, he's been lighting up the AAC. Obviously, he's the only reason why Cincinnati just got an invite to the Big 12, because after this year, I'm pretty sure Cincinnati's not going to be too hot, and the Big 12 is going to kind of regret doing that instead of giving it to SMU. Pony up. But, Desmond Ridder, he's able to lift a franchise and be able to carry it on his back with being consistent. Feel very Jalen Hurtsy when I see him play, without obviously the necessity to run. I don't know. I'm a pretty big fan of Desmond Ridder, just not the way that some people think he's like a top 10 quarterback or top 10 overall player, worth being a top 10 pick as a quarterback. Number 19, Sam Howell to the Broncos. You guys know I like to put this pick here. I think he's an excellent fit. We've seen what Teddy can do when Teddy gets in his rhythm. Sam Howell has a lot more upside than that. I don't like how people are trying to say that he's not that good. Again, he doesn't have weapons. He has Josh Downs. I'm a big fan of Josh Downs. But what else does he have, man? Like, this dude just went from, I'm pretty sure he had Josh Downs. I don't know if Josh Downs is a true freshman or not. I'll do that own research on my own. But, he had 2 high-end weapons, which were, I believe, 2,000 or 3,000 yard receivers, like, over their career at UNC. Obviously, Daz Newsome, De'Ami Brown. You guys know what that is. Along with 2 of the best running backs, the best running back duo arguably in college football history, like the most dominant running back duo. And now he doesn't have that. He has Ty Chandler and Josh Downs. No disrespect to either of them, because they're both really good talents. But people are just trying to act like that doesn't matter. It does. It really does. So Sam Howell, it's a steal for the Broncos. So be happy, Broncos fans. But it's just chill the hell out. Raiders getting Drake Jackson, and I'm starting to chill out on the Drake Jackson hate. He's been actually doing a good job. Every single game he's been getting pressures apart from one, which I like how he's having game-to-game consistency. I just want to see play-to-play impact, because I just don't want you to have one play out of the 20 you do where you make a pressure. I want you, if you get 0 pressures, as long as you look like you're giving the lineman a really freaking hard time with those 20 snaps, I'm happy, because then those will eventually turn into pressures as you develop. That's all I want from Drake Jackson. He's starting to do it. Big fan of that. I want him to succeed. I don't want him to not succeed, but just keep working on it, kid, and you'll be there. I just don't think the Raiders need to get an edge talent. Like, that's the one thing that they have going for them right now. Offensive line, honestly, could be something they go after. Alex Leatherwood started playing guard, which is not a good sign. But yeah, the Raiders position is a tough one to navigate. I think they're going to be picking a lot higher in this draft order coming the next few weeks, just because of the fact that they've had some internal disruption, to put it lightly. And usually we've seen, even with the Browns, which have a super loaded roster, when crap's going on internally, usually some extra stuff is going on behind the scenes that distracts the players from being able to play at their max potential, and it usually leads to worse performances on the field. So I think that that's going to be something that actually plays out. I think the Raiders can actually have a really good pick. So be happy, Raiders fans. You have a team that has at least proven that you can be competitive, which was something that none of us believed in. And now you'll be able to tank a little bit and have an even better team for the next year. The future looks pretty bright for the Raiders. And speaking of what I was talking about earlier with Kyle Hamilton and Trent McDuffie, here we go. That range was worth it, where you can take Kyle Hamilton, get the best player on the board, and then still be able to take a high-end cornerback. Trent McDuffie is a perfect fit. I love that. Again, now the Lions don't have another corner option, but they have plenty of safety options. That's what I do like. Chargers getting Adam Anderson. It's going to be in Uchenna Nwosu role. He is one of the best edge players in the entire class. I'm a huge fan of Adam Anderson. Really thin at 6'5", 230 pounds, but man, he is an absolute threat. I love Adam Anderson. He can play coverage really well. He can do everything, man. I am just a big, big fanboy of Adam Anderson. Next, Chris Olave to the Dolphins. Don't get it. I understand the separator is probably what you need best for a guy like Jacoby Brissett or Tua Tagovailoa, but there's other needs on this team. You could get a guy like Kenyon Green, who showed flashes at left tackle. I'm going to be honest. I'd say screw it. Our guards, it's not like they are Pro Bowl caliber guards. Get one. Get him. You know what? He can play left tackle. He's probably going to be better than Liam Eichenberg right now, which I was a Liam Eichenberg fan, and I was still against the Dolphins picking him up. I just didn't feel like it was the right move. I think that might be the best move. Legitimately, that's a hot take. That's something I didn't plan on saying. I didn't even say it last time. That's something I'd be willing to take a shot on. Darian Kennard. Offensive line is a legit thing. Of course, go edge. Nick Bonito on the board. Kingsley Enagbare, who has been going off this season, so cheers to him as well. There are much better positions to go to than wide receiver. Even though Chris Olave is a really good player, and it's very good value for him. It's just, come on, man. You don't need to get a super threat wide receiver room when you don't have time to throw to your wide receivers. Next, Karlaftis, the Cowboys. It was an interesting pick. I understand that they want to continue developing the edge room, but I don't think it fits. I really don't. If you look at Dan Quinn, he doesn't have Karlaftis as well as DeMarcus Lawrence on the line. He's had a much quicker threat. You think about how you had Vic Beasley back in the day, Dante Fowler Jr. Now you had Randy Gregory, Aldon Smith having that more stand-up role. I think Karlaftis doesn't fit that. He gets triple teamed. He is worth the pick value-wise, but not schematically. And again, guys, push back on this. Cowboys fans, you love to push back, which is great. Also, we're having a 7-round mock of the Cowboys with NFL RT. That's confirmed. Just saying. Coming. This pick, in my opinion, no bueno. Just because of the fact, I think you need to have schematic fit. And you have Nick Bonito. That's a schematic fit. Even Kingsley Enagbare is light enough to be a schematic fit. Karlaftis just plays as a 4-3 defensive end. A pure 4-3. Don't like that. I don't like that at all. Number 25, Darian Kendrick. We already knew the Cardinals needed to get a corner, so they were saved by the bell. Ravens getting Zach Harrison was it's kind of weird to me. I understand where they're coming from. They're like, hey, you lost Matt Judon. Now you have Owe there. You can get another top-end pass rusher. It is one of the biggest wins above replacement positions. I, again, will start going back to the offensive line. If you want to get a guy like Kenyon Green, Ikem Ekwonu, these dudes who can play guard as well as tackle, I'm in full support of that. Of course, my boy Sean Ryan is on the board. I think that he'd be an excellent addition as both a guard and a tackle because he's a big-ass dude who's really good in the run game as well. He's a wall and can't get much worse than Alejandro Villanueva. So I just think that that's the best value. Again, I understand they don't really like Sean Ryan as much. They have him around like 46 on their big board, if I'm not mistaken. So I get it. I just think there's better positions. Next, George Pickens to the Packers. Given the guys on the board, I don't really mind it. They are probably going to look for a number one wide receiver, given that that Devontae Adams is going to be gone. It's just pretty much like it's pretty much a guarantee at this point. They're talking about they're saying that Devontae Adams is going to be there. I just don't think so. If Aaron Rodgers is gone, there's going to be Devontae Adams leaving as well. That's going to be a big issue for the Packers. Getting George Pickens is probably a good way to start, trying to take your shot on your next AJ Green type player. I don't mind it. I didn't like it the first time I saw it because I just don't think a guy coming off an ACL and hasn't really played for a year should be taken. Again, Jamar Chase didn't play, but it wasn't for injury concerns, it was for COVID. It's kind of weird for me. Next, you got Kenyon Green. The Browns don't need anything exactly, so I don't mind this pick at all. I would probably go edge, but Kenyon Green is so good. He can fit anywhere on the offensive line. I really can't complain. They're talking about Wyatt Teller having an issue with the contract. I get that. They're just trying to project, saying maybe the Browns can't pay him, which under that condition, I totally support this Kenyon Green pick. Even without it, even if they get Wyatt Teller to have a contract, I wouldn't mind them going Kenyon Green in the first. I really don't. Bitonio could be coming up on the latter years of his career. Kenyon Green can play tackle, fill in. We've seen that become an issue with injuries. I don't know. I just like the idea of the Browns continuing to develop their offensive line because the run game is huge to them. Number 29, you got Treylon Burks to the Lions. Big fan of that. He can't separate. He has good speed, but he doesn't really separate very well. But he's very good at the point of like the catching point. It's worth taking a shot on. He's a big ass dude, and he can block. He can pass catch. Like he can run. There's a lot of potential here. It's just again that separation pushes him down. Next, you got Tyler Linderbaum. This is just I made this joke when I first recorded this. It was like, if the Bills didn't have a pick at all in this draft, TDN would save Tyler Linderbaum for UDFA to the Bills. Like, there's no other team on this entire league that Tyler Linderbaum will go to. He just won't. He's going to always go to the Bills. They're just going to force him down the line. They're going to just put him on the Bills. And it's just irritating. It's like, dude, can you just put him somewhere else? Ever? Besides the end of the first? Like, if you watch him play, the only thing that you cannot like about Tyler Linderbaum is what is statistically put as his weight. He doesn't play like it, and he moves like it. He doesn't play like it. This dude is a top 10 player, almost guaranteed. If you actually watch this dude play, he is a guaranteed top 10 player, maybe top 5. That's how good he is. So I really don't get that. Number 31, you got the Buccaneers getting Derek Kennard, somebody who I had on my overrated list. This is honestly a little bit past where I would want him to be in my rankings. But after watching him play, he's developed a lot. So personally, I think I would be pushing him up my board. He probably is going to be off my overrated board, similar to Joe Tryon. Like, I put out those lists because I want you guys to see where my head's at, so then you could compare it later on. So now you guys see where I used to not like a player, and then I switched it. So I don't act like I've been a huge fan this whole time, because I'm not going to be. That's the thing. I'm going to tell you guys how I think. Last but not least, like every other TDN mock in history, Jahan Dotson to the Chiefs. Yeah, I can get repetitive, but these are like 4 different dudes who are giving the same exact end to the draft every single time. That's why it's irritating. It's almost like they think identically. Like the same dude make the same mocks, just different order each week. It's just I'm gonna start bringing in some new things for us to look at rather than TDN's mocks, because I'm starting to get a little bit bored with them myself. Just not really the same quality as it was last year. John Dotson, really good receiver, but it's just there's some point where you don't really need to get more speed like Jahan Dotson. Might as well wait till the late second, get Jawan. That's not Jawan, but how the hell did I forget Robinson's name? It's Wandale Robinson. I was like, Jawan. Wandale Robinson at the end of the second is exponentially better value than Jahan Dotson at the first, given that you need edge talent with Kingsley and Nagbear there, given that you need anything on the defense. I just don't get it. So let me know what you guys think. A little bit of a bummer to the end of the video, but I've just kind of gotten fed up with TDN. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.